Hey everyone, Kelly here from Jamberry Nails. So I'm going to give you a little video on how to make nail extension with Jamberry wraps. I've already gone ahead and prepared my nails for this. If you need some instruction on how to do that before you start, feel free to take a look at some of my other videos available. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and cut my wrap already. So I've prepared for my nails, and I've just taken them from this full sheet here. I like to cut them in pieces as opposed to taking them from the full sheet. I find it easier to work with a small piece. So I've chosen a clear background wrap just so that I can show you at the end the difference with the nail length. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you've wiped down your nails and done your prep properly, and then adhere the nails wraps just the same way that you would normally do with the heat. But the one thing that you want to be careful of is not overheating the top part of the wrap that's going to make up the extension for your nail, because it can make the wrap kind of wavy. So I'm just going to go ahead and take one of these wraps off here. I'll just set that aside, and I've got my heater off to the side here. So I'm just going to heat that up a little bit. So you don't want to heat it very long, and then you're going to go ahead and put that down on your nail, just like you normally would with any of the wraps. And I find any of the glossy wraps work better for this. I have tried a couple of the other finishes, and I found that they're a little bit more difficult to work with. You can do it with some of the other finishes, but like I said, it's not quite as easy, so it may not work out the best for your first few tries. So I've gone ahead and smoothed the sides of the wrap, and just press down lightly in the center. If you have very domed nails, so what that means is where you have a curve going from the back to the tip of your nail, you may have difficulty with this technique as well, only because then it would tip the tip of the extension down, and then it wouldn't make it nice and smooth at the tip, okay? So it may not work. So I'm just going ahead with the purple pusher here and smoothing out the edges of my wrap. You want to make sure that you really get any little bubbles out before you continue on. Okay, so there you have that on, and I usually will send you one of these purple pushers when you place an order with me. It makes your manicures that much nicer. Okay, so you can trim your wraps at this point. You can see it's quite long. You can also trim it when you still have it on the backing, so that might make it a little easier for you. I just decided that I would do it this way so that I could give you a bit of a demonstration. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer than my natural nail. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim this a little bit. And this is where you could shape it the shape that you want the nail already. Or what I usually do is I just loosely make the shape of what I want. Oh, a little bubble there. And then you can do a little bit of trimming and filing of the wrap once it's in place, once you've done the gel. So I'm just going to work that little bubble. I'm not sure what happened there. Work that out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so then you've got your nice nail extension. You can kind of see that it's longer than my natural nail, and that's part of the reason that I picked this clear wrap, so I could show you. So then I'm going to take out my TrueShine set. So I've got my UV lamp right here, and you know, in case if you've used other products before, or you're a little bit reluctant about UV lamps, the Jamberry UV lamp is a very low UV. It's about the same kind of UV that you would get from Christmas lights. So, you know, it's very safe for people to use. And then I'm going to use my TrueShine base coat and TrueShine top coat for this. And you can get these two and the lamp as a bundle as well, so you don't have to purchase them separate. Jamberry has a nice little bundle for you so that it can make it easy for you to go ahead and use these kits to do this trick yourself at home. So I'm just going to pull out my Jamberry wipe here because I was sort of touching the wrap, so I want to make sure that any oils from my hand are not on the wrap. So I'm just going to give it a few seconds to dry. And when you take out your gel, you can kind of do a little kind of tornado effect like that. It just helps to move the gel down the bottle a little bit so you don't get it all goopy at the top when you're going to wipe it off. Okay, so then I'm going to do my first coat of the base coat, and to avoid getting any on your skin or your cuticle, you can sort of start in the middle and push down to the back of your nail and then to the tip. It's a little trick I learned, because you really don't want any of this on your skin. Just get a little much there at the tip, because if it's making contact with your skin, then you're not going to get a nice seal and your gel is not going to stay on very well. So you can also do a little cleanup in case if you did get a little bit on your skin. And then if it is on your skin, it's not going to seal properly. So I'm just going to turn on the light so you can see the UV shine there. And it's timed, the light is timed, so you don't have to guess how long you have to keep your nail in there. You just go ahead and keep it on until the time goes out. So as I was saying about the gel, you don't want it touching on your skin or the sides of your cuticle or anything, because then it doesn't make a good seal. And then once you're done, you know, water can get a little bit underneath there, and then it doesn't keep the gel nails on nicely. So some people have had problems before where it's come off, and that's usually the cause. If you're not making a good seal, if you're letting the gel be on your skin as opposed to just on your nail. The other thing that oh, there we go. So that's the first base coat. And then I'm going to take out the top coat here. Same thing, you do a little swirl and just pull off a little bit of that. And then same idea, so you can do a little push to the back and pull to the tip. Pull to the tip. I'm just going to make sure I have a nice even coat. And put that in. So you notice that I've started with my first coat on the top of the nail. I have tried it before where I've done it on the underneath side, so you're going to see how we use the gel to fortify the extension in a minute. But I find that that doesn't work as well. So you need to start with the top layer first to make that a little bit strong, so that when you do paint on the underside, it doesn't curve the wrap at all, because the wraps are soft when you first start out, and we're using the gel to help strengthen it and make it into that nice strong nail extension for you. One of the tools that I've been using lately to help prep my nails, and I found that it's really helped a lot, I was getting a little bit of bubbles on the sides, is this cuticle pusher here. I found that that's really been helpful, and I'll show you how to use that in a second. So now that's dry. So anytime you put the top coat on, once you've set it with the UV lamp, you're going to give it a wipe off with one of the Jamberry wipes or an alcohol wipe if you have, and that just helps to finish it off. Otherwise, you're going to feel that it's kind of tacky or sticky, and you don't want that. Okay, so now I'm going to take out my base coat again. I just have them off to the side here just so that you can see my nails and that I don't accidentally knock them over. So now we're going to do the underside. So you want to pull back the pad of your finger a little bit. And I suggest that you have enough nail that you can at least paint onto your natural nail and onto the wrap. If you don't have any nail that you can paint onto, I feel like it doesn't make as good of a seal. So that might be where you will run into problems. Okay, so I'll just show you again here. So I'm heating the underside of my nail now under the UV lamp. Well, curing it, not really heating it. So this is the cuticle pusher that I was talking about. It's got one small side and one large side. And I find it's really helpful to push back those cuticles, even those hidden cuticles on the sides. That was what my issue was. I was getting little bumps because of that. And so that really helped. And the other thing that you can use it for is to help smooth out your wrap. So if you're having problems when you first put it on, if for some reason you didn't get it you kind of pressed down too quickly and you gave a little bump or something, you could heat up the end of your pusher with the heater, and then use that to help flatten it out. So there, that's cured now. So I'm just gonna grab the top coat here. You don't want too much. You need a nice thin coat to make sure that the UV penetrates properly. So I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with the base coat. Just gonna paint it on the underside, put that back in, and then we'll cure it. Now, if you ever have any questions for me, you can always contact me on my Facebook page. So my link should be available there, but you can find me at FB, so Facebook, fb.me/Sakura Jams. So that's SAKURAJAMS. So you can find me on my Facebook page there, and you can send me a message, or you can also email me through my Facebook page. There's it has more of my contact information there, or on my YouTube channel. So you should be able to find me if you search for me on the web and then send me a message. I'm more than happy to answer your questions if you're having any problems with your application. Okay, so there we go. So now that side's done. So I'm just gonna take out my wipe again. So if you haven't seen them before, that's the Jamberry nail prep wipes. So I'm just gonna do a quick wipe there, and I had to kind of press down with my finger on the other side. So I'm just gonna give it a quick wipe there. And these are nice and big. So, if you're doing a multiple step mani like this, where you have to be wiping several times, this is perfect. It lasts for the whole thing. And you could even, you might get away with saving it in a Ziploc for the next time, or, helping your friend do their mani at the same time as yours. Okay, so there we go. So we're gonna do the base coat again. So this is our second coat of the base coat. So we had done one already, and we cured that with the lamp and top coat. So both base coat and top coat. And there we go. Just making sure that it's not too thick. And I'm just gonna do a little cap at the tip. A little thick there. Okay. Hold on. Just a tiny little bit too much there. Oops, I think that's on the underside, so that's okay. We'll just use our purple pusher and kind of clear that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we're going to cure that under the lamp again. So it's our second base coat. And then we're going to do the top coat again. So usually, whenever you make an order, if it's your first order, I'll usually send you something just to say a little thank you. So I'll usually send you along one of these purple pushers that are really helpful for finishing your manicure, and a nice huge prep wipe, Jamberry prep wipe. Those are really great. I love them a lot. It really makes your application a lot easier. And like I said, with these multi-step manis, it can make it so you just need the one for the whole entire time. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to do another coat of the top coat. So same idea, kind of push back a little bit, go to the tip. There we go. Okay, and then you want to cure that. So you're always going to cure in between each coating, and you want to do a nice thin coat. You don't want it too thick. That way the UV penetrates properly and makes a proper seal. And then once we've got our two coats on here, I'm going to show you, it's quite hard now with the undercoat, so the coat that I put underneath the wrap, and then the two top coats. So we'll just wait for the light to finish there. And then I'll show you what you can do if you want to do a little bit of shaping to your nail. I find if you don't want it to be too finicky, one of the easiest things to do is just get clippers to start your initial shape if you have to do a big change to the shape. If you're just trying to change it slightly, So you can see here, it's a pretty good shape. It's almost kind of like one of the squared with rounded edge, but it's a little bit off on the one side. So then I'm just going to use either my glass file or a Jamberry file. So sometimes I'll start with the Jamberry file initially. There we go. Hopefully you could see that all right. Just so that I can get, because it's a little bit thicker grit to it, to get those more bigger details filed. And then to smooth it out, I'll use the glass file, or if I only have a small little adjustment I want to make. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of wipe that off with the prep wipe, because also now that I have done that, if you noticed earlier I had capped the tip, so now I've kind of filed through that gel cap that I made, so it won't be as sealed. So I'm going to fix that, but I just wanted to show you that it's strong. So you can hear that, and you can see it's still intact. Okay, so I had a little interruption there. So I'm going to go ahead and cap the ends for you to see. So first we're going to do, again, another base coat. So nice and thin. I've already cleaned my nail. Nice and thin. Going to go all the way to the back and to the tip. And then at the tip, I'm just going to do a little cap. So a little bit across, kind of perpendicular there. Okay, and then I did get a little bit underneath, and normally if you're using a colored wrap, you wouldn't really notice. So if you got a little bit of excess underneath there, as long as it wasn't too thick and affecting your nail, you could just leave it. Nobody would really see it, but because I'm using a clear wrap and I want to show you what it looks like afterwards, you might see kind of a goopy blob, so you want to wipe that down if it's a little bit thick. So we're just going to go ahead and cure that, and then we'll I'll show you the end result once we get the top coat on. So in case you're wondering, the lamp time is about 45 seconds. So that might help you, if you're needing to do your mani for a special occasion or something like that, you want to plan yourself a little bit of extra time than if you were just going to put the wraps on alone. So if you're planning to use the extensions, you will need a little extra time, because you need 45 seconds for each layer, so each coat. Okay, so I had a little technology glitch there. So I've already cured the nail and I've already wiped it down. So now I just wanted to show you how strong the tip is and sort of what it looks like now. So I've done 3 coats, or 3 layers I should say. So 3 coats of each top coat and base coat on the top part of the nail, and 1 coat on the bottom. So you can see here the difference between the wrap and my natural nail. And then I just wanted to show you on this side here. So I'm just giving you a little bit of contrast. You can see where the white is of my natural nail and the contrast to the extension there. So that's why I picked the clear nails, so that you could see the difference of that extension. And it's nice and strong. It's not bending at all. It's just as strong as what would be my natural nail. So if you'd like to see the finished product, you can also take a look at my Facebook page, or as well on my Instagram page. We'll talk again soon. Let me know how it goes. Send me a message.